I have made over $100,000 on Fiverr. So in this video, I'm just going to give you my story and give you a few tips that worked for me, and hopefully they can work for you too. Now, I know this is not a big deal, especially to people who are living in the first world country, but I live in Kenya, somewhere in Africa. I started working on Fiverr in 2017, and I had made that amount by around 2020-2021. Now, this does not sound like a huge deal, especially to people in the first world country. But for me, it was life changing. To give you a backstory, before I started working online, I was working as a nanny in Ghana, and I made $4,000 for 2 years. A complete contract would give me $4,000. So to make 100,000 in 4 years, it was crazy, because also I was looking at other things. Yes, I would make this $4,000, but it was for a period of 2 years. But it meant that I had to be away from my family. It meant I had to be locked up in the country for the next 2 years. I couldn't leave. I had to sign a 2-year contract before leaving my own country. So for me, when I found out that I could make money online, this was the most mind-blowing thing. And when I came back, the first thing I did is open my Fiverr account. That is in 2017, around June. But I didn't get my first client until 2017 July. I wouldn't call mine an instant success, because it was a whole month before I got my first client, and it was after a whole lot of trial and error. I watched a lot of videos, I researched a lot on Google, and it's through this trial and error that I believe I learned a thing or two that went on to help me to make money on the platform for such a long time. I think I stopped working on the platform in 2023. So yes, I relied on the income that I got on Fiverr for all those years. So yes, it was such a big deal for me. I know there are so many videos online that tell you how easy it is to make money on Fiverr, and while it's true, you can make money on Fiverr, it's not as easy as they make it sound. I think you have to go through that period of learning the platform first before you understand what really works for your niche and for you in general. In this video, I'll try to be as transparent as possible and share the things that I've learned along the way, so that you can implement them and hopefully make something from Fiverr. So without wasting any of your time, I'll go straight into telling you why I think most people struggle to get started on Fiverr. And that is because a lot of people offer basic services. This is just from my observation, but I truly feel like everyone is copying everyone, and we just end up offering a bunch of similar services that we don't have enough buyers for. So if I were to give you an advice as someone who really wants to make money online, the first thing I'll tell you is to always find your unique selling point. Have one thing that will help you stand out. It's okay to sell services that others are already selling, but you need to have one special thing that will make clients choose you over the rest. And I know you would say, I'm reliable, I deliver on time, I will do 1,000 revisions until you're 100% satisfied. But that is something that someone else can do. You can find a lot of reliable freelancers out there. You just need to find something special that you can offer that most people are not willing to. So I would say the first step into making yourself stand out in platforms such as Fiverr is understanding your niche. You have to know your niche very well, inside and out, and understand what your clients might need. Let's take an example of a social media manager. If you're just a social media manager that can post on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, that is a good service to offer. But everyone else can do that. Most people can. It's that easy. If you are doing social media management, what can you do? what other service can you offer that will help your client feel like you are taking a lot of weight off their shoulders. So you could be a social media manager, but you could add other things on the side. You can decide to be a VA that is doing social media management, and if you are working with a blogger or an influencer that is trying to grow on social media, but they also have a blog or a YouTube channel, you can learn other skills such as posting blog posts on WordPress. You can also learn how to do video editing so that you can be a full package to your client. I feel like a lot of people just offer basic services, and that's the reason why the competition gets too stiff, because everyone is doing exact same thing. Okay, so after now you've chosen a niche, you have decided what you want to do. The next thing you want to do is to go on Fiverr to validate your niche. If you've decided to be a social media manager, you want to go to Fiverr and actually evaluate the market. See how many freelancers are there. Are there too many services? Just go on Fiverr. On the search bar, you can just enter your main keyword and you will see how many services are listed under that keyword. If the competition is too steep, consider maybe niching a little bit down or changing the niche altogether. Another thing is you have to make sure that the niche you're trying to get into is not obsolete. If you're getting into a niche that nobody is searching for, then it will be very hard for you to get any jobs on the platform. So it's important for you to validate the niche before you go and start creating your Fiverr gigs. So the next step after now validating your niche, number 4, you want to study the Fiverr algorithm. You want to know a thing or two on how the platform works. The thing you need to understand is that Fiverr is a search engine in its own. You have to treat Fiverr like you would treat other search engines such as Google or Bing or any other search engine. What that means is you will need to understand a little bit of SEO. You need to understand the keywords. This basically means coming up with terms that your potential clients will use to search for your service. So you'll have to come up with different variants of this keyword. You'll have main keyword and then different variants of that. And this is what you'll use to create your profile. And also on the profile description, make sure you have a keyword or two in those areas. It's important. Still on the SEO of the platform, you'll need to optimize your gig descriptions, your titles, your thumbnails. For the thumbnail and titles, you can go to the search bar and search for top freelancers that are doing what you are doing and take inspiration from what they've created. You can check out how they've made their image and try to get a similar thing. I did not tell you to copy. Just take inspiration and create your own images. Also, that applies also to the titles. From there is gig description. Now, for the gig description, we had discussed about keywords. You will write your gig description and use a few of the keywords and their variants within the description. Okay, another thing that does help with the Fiverr SEO is staying online. Don't get me the wrong way. I won't be that person that tells you you have to be on Fiverr 24/7. All I'm saying is there's a feature on Fiverr that can show when you are online. And how this works is when a client wants to hire immediately, normally they'll just inbox or DM a freelancer that is already online, because if they want to hire immediately, maybe they don't have time to come back to the platform to keep going back and forth with you. So what they do is they will go for freelancers who are already online. And also when a client clicks on your profile, they are able to see your last seen. They are able to see when you last logged in the platform. So it's important to keep showing some activities on the platform for that particular reason. So we are done with Fiverr SEO and Fiverr algorithm. The next thing is constantly updating your profile. Now, a lot of people create gigs And if they are not getting any orders, they'll just disappear from Fiverr. They'll just say I have an account on Fiverr, but they never really go back to update anything. If you want to make money on Fiverr, you'll have to be very intentional with how much effort you're putting into your profile. You have to be very observant. You'll have to see what is working and what is not working. For instance, if you have a lot of impressions but you don't have orders, it means your gig is being shown to clients, but they're deciding not to click on it for one reason or the other. The main reasons will be your gig image is probably not communicating well enough, or your title is not describing what the client is looking for. So you are ranking on the platform, yes, but you are not selling to the clients what they are looking for. So you have to be intentional about opening your gigs and seeing how they are performing and adjusting accordingly. The only thing that I will advise you to get right from the very first is the title of your gig. The moment you write that gig, it will remain the same. It won't change. It will be written on the URL of the gig, and so it's important to keep it that way. Another thing that you need to get right is the keywords, because you don't want to keep changing the keywords, because every time you do that, your gig will have to be dropped from the algorithm and it will have to get picked up again. So it's important to get your gig title correct from the very first time, and also keyword research. And that's why I started by telling you need to get your keywords right even before you start creating your gig. You find your niche and go straight into getting the right keywords for that. Anyway, that's to say, the moment you create your gig, be sure to go back and just improve your gig. Even if you're not getting orders yet, you have to keep going back to the platform, changing your gigs and changing the wording. Just keep updating it until something gives. So the next thing we are going to discuss is the metrics, Fiverr metrics that affect your gig placement, your gig positioning, and the visibility of your profile. These metrics are very important because they decide which profiles will keep staying on the top and which profiles will be somewhere in the middle and which ones Fiverr algorithm will drop altogether. It's important to observe them. If you've done your research on Fiverr, you will know that they say that their gig placement is not permanent, and while that is true, you will find that their profiles on Fiverr that you will never find them in the second page. They are constantly ranking high on Fiverr page. Yes, there's gig rotation on Fiverr, but there are those accounts that will keep coming back on top on the platform. And here is why: they observe these metrics, and if you do the same, you might rank for your keywords for years. So metric number one is response rate. You might not have control of every other metric when you're starting out, but response rate you will have. Basically, you should be able to respond to each and every DM that you get on the platform, but not only responding, you should also be very fast in responding. So that includes responding to spam messages. You can just respond and say no thank you in case they are offering something weird, but never ever skip responding to a message on Fiverr. Also, you have to make sure that you're responding very fast. In an ideal world, you should be able to respond within 1 to 15 minutes. That's what Fiverr wants. So Fiverr take it very seriously when you respond late to your DMs, because they see it as an opportunity that they've lost to make money. Basically, when they're sending traffic to you, they want you to make sure that you're doing your best to convert that traffic. That's why you should be very fast in responding. I remember a few months ago, I stopped talking on Fiverr in 2023, but I do go back once in a while because I love writing. I write for passion, and sometimes I need an outlet of my creativity, and usually writing is my go-to. So I did go back to Fiverr, I think early this year. I remember I got a message and I replied like 5 hours later, and the response was, I found another freelancer. So basically, as much as you are responding so that Fiverr won't strike you, you are also responding fast to win clients, because there are so many freelancers out there. And normally, from my experience, clients don't just inbox one freelancer. They will inbox a few different freelancers to see whoever will be a better fit. So yes, it's important to respond to every single message and also respond very fast. So another key metric is delivery time. So normally you are the one who chooses the turnaround time, or you will be in agreement with your client. Now you need to honor this. You need to honor it. When you say you're going to deliver in 2 days, deliver in one. This is because sometimes a client will come back with revisions. If an order comes back in revision and your delivery time has already elapsed, if that order will be marked as late on your dashboard, although the system will not mark it as late. Let's say you delivered like 3 hours to the delivery date, and then the client came back like an hour before your delivery and they requested for a revision. Once that hour is over, it's going to be marked as late on the dashboard. This does not affect your delivery time, but it does affect your gig ranking. So it's important for you to deliver way before the time you said you would deliver. And also, it's just a good practice. It just makes your clients trust you more, and the goal is to have clients coming back. Another key metric is client review. Now these come in two forms. There is public review and also private review. Now public review is the review that when someone comes to your profile, they can see those reviews. Private reviews, on the other hand, Fiverr will pick a client at random and they will request them through an email to rate your work or to rate the experience they had with you. If they rate you well, this will boost your profile very high on the ranking. But if they give you a negative review, unfortunately this will take your gig out. Like, negative reviews are generally bad for your account, but a private negative review will make sure your gig is dead for at least a few months. Unfortunately, some clients will be comfortable with giving you a review on public and they'll leave a good review, but when they are in private, because their review will be anonymous, you won't know that they rated you. They tend to be very honest, and their honesty can go super deep. They probably didn't like how you responded after 2 hours, 3 hours, and if they rate that as a bad experience, then you will go down for that even if you've done a good job. It can be a little bit unfair, but it is what it is. You just have to make sure that you've done your best with every single client that comes your way. So that's all for today's video. I hope a few tips from this video will help you grow on Fiverr. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.